Oh baby, it's cold outside here in Florida today, and I had to put on my winter gear here to stay warm because, but I'll tell you what's colder than that. Getting the cold shoulder from your Republican governor and lieutenant governor who you've supported the whole time. You actually voted for them twice, 8 years now. And you thought they would just, you thought they would come in and be the hero. You got a former Green Beret, and you got Ron DeSantis. And you would think the moment this corruption and scandal over millions of dollars, not some chunk change, millions of dollars and sexual harassment cover up and not wanting to take care of, their basically their soldiers who are volunteers with the state, and then taking the position in court that they deserve no protection because they're just a volunteers. It's shocking, but you wouldn't think that coming from Ron and Jay. You think, or I thought, they would have come in and been heroes, but now they're zeros. All they had to do was come in and say, you're fired, you're fired. It would have solved this whole issue. You, the public, would not even be aware of this right now if they just would have stood up and fought corruption. But exactly like the executive leadership in the Florida State Guard, who continue to do nothing and just sweep it under the rug and don't even acknowledge it, look at how our governor and lieutenant governor are being. That's why they're the same, because they all do it. They all do the same thing. None of them want to address the issue because it brings a spotlight onto them and their leadership. But if it's Democrat corruption or a Democrat scandal, they're going to be all over IG and X and Fox News talking about how corrupt the Democrats are. But only Democrat corruption is allowed. But if it's happening in their own house and they're aware of it, and they are, and we'll get to that, they would rather choose to not even acknowledge the existence of it than to be embarrassed by it, I guess. Which I said, they wouldn't even be embarrassed. Because if they just acknowledged it and said, we're going to fire this person and we're going to investigate it, done. You're a hero. And I'll tell you right now, all the veterans who are serving the State Guard, which the majority of people in the Florida State Guard are veterans, like myself. 12 years Air Force. A lot of your pilots in the State Guard are very experienced. I can tell you of 2 Army helicopter pilots who both did 40 years of military service. 40 years of service. Even I was shocked by that. And half that time was done in the reserves and half was done active duty. But I mean, they did 40 years of flying helicopters. And this is kind of shocking to me. They can't even get an acknowledgement from the lieutenant governor or even DeSantis himself. I actually have one of the letters, which was an IG complaint and a memorandum that was sent directly to Jay Collins. He wouldn't even recognize it. And this is from one of those 40-year pilots who was also the director of the aviation unit in the State Guard. Show some respect, Jay. I mean, seriously, show a little respect to your veterans. The guy did 40 years in the Army and still serves you in the State Guard, trying to make you look good and protect your Floridians. And you won't even acknowledge his letter, even address it. I'll tell you something else, Jay. I saw this on your X account this morning. And you said, it's funny that you said this. You said, would you rather have a governor campaigning and raising funds in other states or one who's going to stay here in Florida to get everything ready, to get its agencies and State Guard ready for the next hurricane? I literally about spit out my coffee when I heard you say that. And I'll tell you why that's so funny to me. Because one, the State Guard, which is, proven your hurricane response. especially with the aviation unit and the special missions unit. It's so fractured right now. Like the SMU is completely fractured. You ripped out the core of that, and you have guys resigning every day. And then on the aviation, which is probably the most important, I would say, because they're able to fly over all the debris and get to where it needs to go and evacuate people and hoist people out of areas that are completely just water filled and you can't get to it. They only have four pilots right now, 4 Black Hawk pilots to be more specific. And none of those are instructor pilots. And why that's important is, as a pilot, you have to do reoccurrent training to stay current. So in a few months, those pilots won't even be able to fly those Black Hawks because you guys demoted. Oh, this is hilarious. I just thought about this. You guys not only demoted the aviation director, who was the 40-year Army pilot, he was also the chief pilot, which he's the guy that recertifies all the other pilots because he has those certifications and can do that. So you demoted him. And guess, I don't even know if you're aware of this, Jay. You promoted, or I should say, he self-promoted, the executive director self-promoted himself to be the chief pilot when he doesn't even have a pilot's license. Like, if you think this outfit is ridiculous, think about, just chew on that. You have a guy that doesn't even have a pilot's license who is also using state taxpayer funded money to pay for his license, now promoted himself to be the chief instructor pilot of the aviation unit. Like, for like mind blowing. Like I said, like, I thought I was retarded. That's retarded. That doesn't even make any type of sense. Your chief pilot is the most experienced guy who upholds standards and safety training, reoccurrent training. And you have a guy who's never flown anything more than a Cessna is now in charge of King Airs, turboprops, Black Hawks, UH-1s, Hueys, Bell 412s, 206s. And this guy's in charge of safety and training. That's retarded. It's literally retarded. But like I said, that guy, that director, that chief pilot sent you a memorandum, a letter, explaining all of this back in November of 25, and you wouldn't even acknowledge him. So why would any regular Floridian, or even just a regular veteran like myself, why would I feel comfortable electing you as the governor when you won't even acknowledge, I would say, a pretty high level individual like that, who is your aviation director and a 40-year Army veteran? You won't even acknowledge him. If I need something, you're never going to do it for me. You're never going to do it for, Billy Bob and whoever in Florida. You're not going to listen to a farmer. You're not going to listen to the restaurant worker. You won't even listen to your own veterans, the people that are actually working to serve you. Same for DeSantis. Man, DeSantis is, what a disappointment. What a disappointment that is. Like, and I know all you soy boy Republicans are going to come at me in the comments like y'all been doing. I mean, first of all, look at me. Do I look anything like a Democrat? And if you can't even bench 225, don't even put a comment in the comment section. And 225 is the minimum. If you're not repping 315 on the bench, you really shouldn't even be replying to me at all. But I mean, just go look at my profile. Let me know if there's anything in there Democrat. And I'll just tell you the voting record right now. DeSantis. And I voted Trump 3 times. Trump. I voted Trump 3 times. I still support Trump, by the way, just in case anyone's wondering. I still support Trump. Have I been disappointed? Absolutely. I was disappointed. The first disappointment I had was the Epstein files. That was super disappointing. But that's my voting record. Just real quick for the bootlicking boomer Republicans out there who are like, oh, you're just a Democrat. First of all, look at this t-shirt right here. This is a John Howard Art Birdman shirt right here. One of these a day keeps the liberal away, right? So definitely not a liberal. And I'll say this, I'm not a Republican either. Although I vote Republican, I'm not. My party is Jesus Christ. That's who my leader is, right? Jesus Christ is my party. I will always follow that before I follow any man or any party. That's my belief system. So I don't care if you're a Republican. If you're wrong, you're corrupt, I'm going to call you out on it. I'm not loyal to some stupid made up party, which I believe the party's mascot is an elephant, which I always thought that was kind of weird for whatever reason. But I mean, it's like, why is there an elephant? And then I think the Democrat's a donkey. I'm just like, it's kind of two weird animals to pick. Oh yeah, by the way, John Howard Art coffee mug. I don't know if you can see this good because it's kind of dark, but this is one of my hummingbirds. Go get you one. All proceeds go to charity. And there's some coffee coming too. Anywho, back on track. Let's talk about DeSantis. What a disappointment. I really thought DeSantis was not going to tolerate this at all. I thought he was going to come in and just clean house and be the hero that I thought he was. And I'm just going to give you guys a little bit more of the story. A little bit more. Let me get comfortable here. This is going to be not a long one, but oh, by the way, before we get into the long story of DeSantis, you see my little rooster Chubbies? This episode, I'm hoping will be sponsored by Chubbies eventually, but I'll tell you this. One of my rich gay friends, his name's Josh. He's a rich gay. He bought me these little rooster shorts. He had a pair on too, so we went out on the boat together with them on, looking like a, very cute, masculine couple. But he's a rich gay. And I'll tell you this, DeSantis and Jay, once you piss off the rich gays, you're done. You're cooked. There's no coming back. You thought making the spouse club was bad? You don't know the fury of the rich gays. Never piss off the rich gays. No one cares about the poor gays. But the rich gays, oh man, once they are aware that you misused their tax dollars, you're done. I mean, they're going to come at you guys so hard. Like, you don't want to be on that side of the fence. And I think, well, you're already there unless you acknowledge the scandal that's going on. But I mean, like I said, you don't want to piss off the rich gays. They got power, they got money, and they'll never stop. I mean, literally, they will never stop. Like, they will just, you think I'm hounding you? Wait till they come after you, man. I mean, they're ruthless. They will literally beat you up. Literally, they will beat you up. They can be very mean, very mean. So anyways, the DeSantis story, back on track. I'll give you guys a little more context. And from my first video, you probably saw I was praising DeSantis, and I was. Hey, our wonderful governor, we just want you to be aware of this, please investigate. And as the days went on, I was told by multiple different members in political, congressional, House, all those people, they could never speak to DeSantis directly. And I was always concerned. I was like, maybe DeSantis doesn't actually know what's going on. And then that's when I found out the lieutenant governor 100% knew, because people, commanders, and other Green Berets spoke to him directly in length and in detail. But with DeSantis, there was a gatekeeper. Even for members of Congress, they couldn't speak directly to DeSantis because of this. DeSantis's chief of staff, he's the gatekeeper to him. And his name is Jason Wida. I think I'm pronouncing his last name right, Wida. Jason Wida. I think he's some state representative, attorney, or something like that. I don't know if he's a bad guy. I don't know if he's a bad actor. I have no idea. I can tell you I've heard some bad things from other Republican politicians. By the way, I don't speak to Democrat politicians. I don't even know any of them. And in Florida, we don't really have many. So, and I'm not Democrat, so whatever. But one of the politicians told me Jason Wida was a clown. Actually said an effing clown. And I was like, do you think this guy is purposely blocking our message from going to DeSantis? And I found that I heard this early on. I think it was Sunday night or Monday after the video came out. It's like a day or 24 to 48 hours after the video came out. He told a congressional member they weren't even going to acknowledge it because it made DeSantis look bad. It made Republicans look bad, and they wouldn't get their budget passed because the House is in session right now, and that they weren't going to do anything, and the next governor could handle it. I was super disappointed to hear that because I said I thought DeSantis was going to come in and just be like, fired, fired, fired. And that's when I kind of realized it doesn't matter what political party it is. They're only going to go after the other side. These people know these scandals are going on. They know all this stuff. They're aware of it. But if it's their party, they won't even touch it. And then the guy above them won't even touch it because they don't want to make someone look bad, right? And that's what you're seeing right now. A lot of these Floridian politicians and, Republican influencers won't touch it. Because if they touch it, it's as if they're going against DeSantis. And if you go against DeSantis, you're now going against Trump. That is the worst system ever. Like, I can support Trump. I do. I can support DeSantis. I do, but like I said, I'm disappointed right now. So he's not doing the right thing. But we have to police ourselves. Republican, whatever, as Americans, as Christians, if someone is wrong, they're wrong. And we need a clean house. We need to show the rest of the people we will hold ourselves accountable, that we won't let something slip through the cracks just because it's one of our own. And I'm not seeing that right now in the Republican Party on this. So many people are afraid to make an acknowledgement about this scandal because it would make DeSantis look bad. And they're all looking for a handout. That's all they want. They want that. They have their hand out and they're looking to climb the ladder for money. That's really what it is. These people don't care about serving you, the public. They don't. They're just looking at what's best for them. What's the next step up? I don't want to be the guy to make waves and rock the boat because the guy above me will never let me climb up. That's a broken system. And that's why America is the way it is right now. Republican, Democrat, they're all broken. Back to this Jason Weta. I think I got a little off topic there. Sorry. This Jason Weta guy is refusing to bring it to DeSantis. And that's why I started pushing the video a little bit harder. And then probably about Wednesday, I got a phone call from another member of Congress, actually a few members of Congress. And they told me they still could not get a hold of DeSantis directly, and that this Jason Weta said DeSantis won't address it again. And he said by Friday evening, this will be old news. And actually said this will be old news like Alligator Alcatraz. I don't know why he said that. Said this will be old news like Alligator Alcatraz. And come Monday morning, there'll be a new news story in the public image. So they just weren't even going to acknowledge it. Again, super disappointed to hear that. Well, you guys don't obviously know me, which is surprising because you saw my video from Hurricane Helene in North Carolina. You should know a man like me and a group of special operators aren't going to let this go. Oh, and by the way, I heard there's actually a new lawsuit that just came out against the state guard in the state of Florida for more stuff. I haven't looked into it yet, but I heard about it. So it's going to be out there in public record soon enough, I guess, or already is. But you should know better than to mess with a group of people, men like me. Not the comment section Republican boys that can't bench 225. The real Republicans. The dudes that are actually doing it. The guys that are actually, the man in the arena. The man in the arena. Not the one sitting in the stands, eating popcorn, drinking Coca-Cola. That's what a lot of you guys are in the comments, which you're a super disappointment. You're just a fat sheep around sheep, as I always say. You think you're a wolf, But what you really are is just a fat sheep around sheep. So, anyways, this, as I was saying, this Jason Weedy guy, got off a little tangent there, said that DeSantis wasn't going to acknowledge it. So that Congress member said, hey, give me till Friday. Let me keep working. Let me try to get an answer out of DeSantis. And I said, okay. So I never said anything about DeSantis not willing to address it until Friday. I put it in my story that Governor DeSantis was not going to address it at all, not even acknowledge the existence of it. That was painful, man. It really disappointed me as a Floridian, because I thought we had a strong governor, but I realized he caved. And I'll tell you a little bit more from hearing from, this is from a lot of different members of political people, congressional, whatever, Senate. They told me that DeSantis's office and like his staff has basically been non-functioning since he lost the presidential race by his choice, meaning he won't even answer phone calls. He won't talk to members of Congress, the Senate, the House, and he's passed everything off to Lieutenant Governor Jay Collins, and that he's basically just checked out, and that they were all super disappointed because they went on the campaign trail with him around the nation when he was going for president, and now he won't even take their phone call or text message. So they said that his staff and him have been non-functioning, which I think that's been like a year plus, right, since the presidential race. He's been non-functioning and just completely checked out. And they said the only thing he does, they don't even know why he does it, is post on social media just to like get reactions from people, making like little one-hit liners. So that was super disappointing to hear that. But that's the state of our government right now. And unfortunately, DeSantis, I think this is going to be what you're remembered for. Because veterans don't forget. I mean, Floridians don't forget, but I'm telling you, the veterans of Florida who have served this country and who have continued to serve in your state guard that you started, and you won't even acknowledge them, help. You won't even help. But you're meeting like German chancellors, and you're meeting this person, and you run your mouth here on social media, but you won't listen to the people that you actually serve. And I think that's what you're going to be remembered for. And as I've come out with this, I've had a lot of people send me like, oh, do you know about this scandal? Do you know about this? Do you know about the money laundering at Alligator Alcatraz? And I'll just look at it briefly. I'm just like, oh, that does seem a little suspect. Like, oh, did you hear about the Hope Foundation, DeSantis' wife? She laundered $10 million through these two nonprofits that then went back and like funded your agenda for some medical marijuana bill, like $5 million each, or I think it was $8.5 million. What I looked into briefly, and they're like, and I was looking at that, I'm like, wow, if that's the stuff that's really been going on that I wasn't even aware of, it kind of explains why you're not acknowledging this. Maybe you're not the man I thought you were. Maybe you're not this strong governor that I thought you were. Maybe you're just another corrupt politician. I can only judge you by the cover you show me. And you've been failing to recognize this or address it. So that's what I have to judge you on. I figured if you were going to listen to anybody, it was the commanders and the people that you had in charge of the state guard, and you won't even acknowledge the existence. So it's disappointing. Very, very, very disappointing. And ridiculous, to be honest. It's even more ridiculous than this outfit, Like, I know what y'all are thinking. Like, what is he doing right now? Cowboy hat? And I got a custom cowboy hat coming from a friend in Texas, but I know what you're thinking right now. Like, what a stupid outfit. What is that dude doing right now? Wearing chubby shorts, a fur coat, Cartier sunglasses, which I like these. The sales guy was nice to me. Like a cowboy hat. I'll tell you, it's not as ridiculous as you politicians not doing your job and covering up corruption. That's way, way more ridiculous than this outfit right here. And I hate that I had to wear this outfit, but I got to do something to get the attention of people on Instagram, and this will do it. But I honestly, after looking at myself in this outfit, this might become a normal thing. I like this. Like this is pretty cool looking. And I actually went on a black bear hunt a couple of years ago in Montana, specifically to get my own fur coat. I was going to make a coat out of that bear. Oh, hold on, my phone's ringing. Who is calling me? No, can't take it. So, when I get those, like the 48 hour of winter in Florida, I could wear my bear coat, but I missed the bear. Unfortunately, it was a bad shot. So yeah, trust me, the way you guys are handling this scandal, it's a lot more ridiculous than this outfit. Significantly more ridiculous. So I hope the real ones recognize what's actually going on here and help. And, yesterday the Hodge twins, they came out and I think they tagged the governor and said, what the hell's going on in the Florida State Guard? And I've had some other higher level, Republican, whatever. I'm going to call them strong American patriots. Strong American patriots, celebrities have reached out to me, and I think more is going to be coming out here soon. So, yep. Anyways, let's end on a good positive note. No more sad corruption stuff. So johnhowardart.com, or, you go on Instagram, Birdman Art. If you didn't know, I'm a bird photographer. I don't want to limit myself to a bird photographer. I do wildlife photography, everything from stars, the moon, whales. Haven't even posted those yet, from Costa Rica, all types of wildlife, but mainly birds, especially pelicans, because I got so many in my backyard here in Florida. But I donate all the money to charities, all of them. This one right here, that osprey with the fish, which I took right here in my backyard in Santa Rosa Beach in Hogtown Bayou, that one just auctioned back in October for $4,000 for the Combat Control Foundation out in Texas. That made me really happy because someone appreciated my art that much. And the previous high was $2,250, which is over here, but I can't move the camera right now. But anyways, not to brag on my art sales prices. That's not what I was doing. What I was saying is all the money goes to charities. And I always pick new charities, whether it's, like hurricane victims in North Carolina, in Kerrville, a police officer gets shot, someone's house gets flooded, a veteran charity, whatever it is. If I'm aware of it, I will donate all the proceeds that month in sales to that charity and then do a print auction. So coffee mugs, t-shirts. I got the best t-shirts. It'll make you stronger and more jacked in the gym and not make you a liberal either if you get one of these. But all the proceeds go to charity. So if you like the art that you're seeing in the background, coffee mugs, t-shirts, go get you one, and just know that the money you're spending and receiving something, the money is going to a good cause. It's actually going to make a difference. And you're actually helping people by doing that and getting some pretty cool art in the meantime. So I appreciate all you guys listening to this. Thank you. See you around.